Hey, what's going on there, everybody? So it's been quite a while since I've done a video on the Totem, hasn't it? So I decided to make one because I did a little bit of some adjustments and some modifications to make it fit the current model that's in the Dead by Daylight right now, as of 4.4.2, I think it is. Just before 4.4.2, they decided to update the Totem visually give it a little bit of an enhancement, since the model was looking a little old and dated. Obviously, the game when it first shipped, the Hag. I think once the Hag DLC came out, that's when the introduction of these totems and hexes came out. They didn't have as much resources back then to make these models look nice and polished. So a lot of the models and visual things in Dead by Daylight are being updated as we speak, to kind of make it feel a little bit more realistic and less of the cartoony route, I guess, that they used to do with their art direction. And as such, they made some adjustments to the totem, and so I decided to copy those adjustments to my current totem. And so we'll go over those very quickly. There's not a whole lot that I've done to the totem since then, but I will briefly go over the modifications that I have done and the future modifications that I want to do. I'm going to go over there to the totem here in just 2 seconds. But as you can see, one modification that I've done to make it look like the current one in the game now is the jaw now hangs from the zygomatic bone rather than 2 silver charms as it used to be. So I got rid of one of the silver charms, and now a jawbone hangs from the zygomatic bone now. So that's one little adjustment that they did. Instead of having 2 charms, now you have a charm, a jawbone that hangs, and then on the other bone that has nothing hanging from it to the right is supposed to be an apothecary. I've still not been able to find a really good apothecary just yet. I've been looking around. There was one that I was kind of interested in, but I think it was still a little not quite what I was looking for, so I kind of decided not to buy it. So things that I'm missing obviously is the apothecary, so that's still a work in progress, trying to find one of those. The candles at the bottom, I'm still not really happy with those. They're a little too big, a little bigger than I want them to be, so I'm gonna try to find some new candles to replace those ones and repurpose those candles for a possible VHS, horror collected VHS, or how do I say this? I'm trying to get a bookshelf where it's a bunch of old VHS horror films, like iconic ones. I'm already starting in the process of collecting those. It's something that I want to do in terms of just having a set piece in my room, is having a bunch of old horror VHS tapes, and I kind of want to eventually watch them on VHS just to get that old iconic feel. And so I think that's what I'm going to do with those candles down there, is repurpose them into my new bookshelf. And then the next modification that I've done is at the base, as you see down there. If you remember, this I don't think I ever mentioned this, but the totem was constantly falling on me. Honestly, it's so modified now in terms of the paint on the skulls because of how much paint was chipping off of the skulls from hitting the hardwood, or not hardwood, but hard glass tile, that I had to start constantly repainting the skulls. And they're more of a brownish, dirty kind of look, which is completely fine because it gives it more of that dirty, ancient look that I'm kind of going for. So yeah, so to compensate for that, and it was always like this in the game, the bones are actually tied to the stick to give it some support. In the game, it's also like this, but for a while I was lazy to do that, and my amazing girlfriend actually helped me with that, I was holding the totem as she was tying the twine with the sticks and the bones together, because I can't tie for shit. I couldn't visually figure out how to do it. So she was the one that helped me out with that. So that's the next modification that I did, little update that I've done to it. Anyways, that's about it in terms of what I've done to the totem. The next things that I want to add to the totem, well, obviously I still need an apothecary one, but I do want to add more sticks and twigs, more brush, like leaves and things, to the actual sticks themselves to give it more life, because I feel like the sticks are just a little too plain. And that's really the only things that are left that I need to do to the totem, honestly, and it would pretty much be complete, in my opinion. One modification that I cannot do to make it look more accurate to the version 2 totem that we now have in the game is, if you notice, I don't remember what skull it is, and I'll go over to my totem right now. I don't remember what skull it was, but one of these actually has a big gash on the top of the head, like a big opening. I can't really do that specifically with these skulls, only because they're hollow on the inside, and so if I do that, the stick will just fall right through the skull. The stick is actually kind of resting up underneath the cranium here, so it's really hard for me to do. So I'm probably not going to add that modification. There's probably other ways that I can probably modify it to fit it in my own personal appeal. I mean, I'm not trying to go 100% like game accurate here. You know, there's things, honestly, the twine, I actually wish I had made that black rather than yellow, but it is what it is. I'm still happy with the results that this thing came out. So I'll probably do, once this is said, done, finished, I got the apothecary, I've got all the sticks, twigs, and it's 100% final. We're getting closer to finishing this thing. I mean, this thing's been built for over a year now, and I still haven't finished it, and it's just because I'm trying to find the resources and the time for it. So yeah, once this thing is completely finished, I'll make another video of all the list of things that I had to buy, where you can find them, where you can buy them. The jawbone, actually, I should mention, is the same creator as all the other pieces of the bone material here, the skull, the humerus down there. It's all made by the same guy. I just hit up the guy. I was like, hey, do you sell the jawbone by chance separately? And he said, yeah, we can do it for $9. I was like, great. He's very inexpensive in terms of the bone pieces. You can get these for like nothing. I think the humeruses, all three of them, were like $20. The skulls were like 30 or 40, and then the jawbone was $9. Obviously, it becomes more pricey once you start adding all this shit up, I'm not gonna lie. But you know, when it comes to Etsy products, I mean, you can pay anywhere in terms of art, $100 plus, you know, so yeah, I'm a little thankful for his generosity in terms of his pricing. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So new candles, apothecary, twigs and brush to add to this, to the overall the sticks here. And I think that'll probably do it, and this thing will be completely finished. So yeah, I'll definitely have another update video of the totem now that you see that it's actually more complete now and it has a base to support it. It should never fall again, hopefully. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, I would love to actually hear from you guys what you think. I plan to re-enter this thing into the Dead by Daylight contests. I know they do some of these contest things on their forums. I entered it at one time, but I never actually got nominated, and I'm not entirely sure why. I'm not bashing anybody else's art project, but I feel like this thing is pretty damn realistic looking compared to other people's projects, and somehow mine just never made it. Hopefully in the future I get nominated, and that would really be cool if I could, and get some notoriety for this little project that I made here. I don't know how long I'm going to be holding on to this thing, because I am getting a little bored of Dead by Daylight these days. So eventually I may sell it. I don't know, put it up for an offer or something on eBay. Anyways, I'm rambling, so I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.